Hello folks, it's Jeremy, aka Captain Subpar, here for another unboxing review for you. Not one I was expecting to do right now, but I decided, you know what, let's bust one more out. Yes, as you can see right here, we have the basic figures of the 5 Rangers for Power Rangers Ninja Steel. It's going to debut in February. It's pretty typical for the new line of figures to come out around Black Friday. Not uncommon. Lots of new stuff out on the shelves. I'm going to be super honest with you guys. I probably said this before if you watched any of my past videos. When it comes to the Bandai America line of stuff, for the actual new seasons, not counting legacy items, obviously, I don't really buy a lot of those toys. Nothing really against them. I know people are really adamantly against some of the decisions they make. But it's just that I import a lot of the Japanese stuff, and yes, it's more expensive, but it's higher quality. It's the stuff that I want. It's the more show-accurate stuff. So I buy all of that stuff. So when it comes to the actual Power Rangers items, there isn't a lot I want. They've done some different things. The throwing star that is the weapon for the Ninjas is actually going to be used as the morpher for the Ninja Steel team. So it's slightly different. And they have the throwing stars, shurikens, whatever you want to call them. A lot smaller, very different. And it's all good stuff, nothing that I have a problem with personally. That's what the kids want, that's what the kids will get. But it's not for me. So I'm really just a basic figures guy. So I decided I'm going to unbox these for you, show you what they look like, compare them to the Dino Charge figures, give you a little thought on that. And really, that's pretty much where I stand on this. Again, no disrespect, Bandai America, but that's how I am. So, we are going to move these a little aside. I put them out there for you, I don't know, visually, to look cool, whatever, to start. But, let's start with the Red Ranger. I'm going to give you a quick overview of this. The big thing they're selling is Pilot the Megazord. Because with Ninja, if you don't know this, what's interesting about it is that the actual Red Ranger's mecha is kind of used as like a little robot that sits inside. As you can see here, they took it out to demonstrate it, but they're letting you put the figure in there. Makes sense. But usually it's the Red Ranger's mecha that's in there. They can do a little switch feature where the Blue Ranger's mecha takes that spot instead, and the red goes to be an arm. And there's other mecha to come that do the same thing. And I assume this is just going to be a gimmick they're going to keep playing with throughout the entire line. But that's their big selling point. And as far as the first figures that come out, we have the 5 Rangers. But then we have one of the main bad guys. We have the Foot Soldier. And again, I don't remember what they're calling them just yet. And then we have one of the first monsters from the series. The thing they did with Dino Charge that they seem to be doing here is that they're releasing more villain figures, which I think is really cool. Yeah, a lot of them are Monsters of the Week that we don't really see more than once. I prefer they really try to stick to the main bad guys. But if they get them covered and they want to release villains, like, more power to them. That was a big selling point in the original MMPR series with the figures. So to see them go back to that is very cool. Anyway, Red Ranger also, as you can see on the back, it's just a picture of the Red Ranger. What they had been doing with Dino Charge, and even before that with the figures from Megaforce, is they were given a little bio. But sometimes the figures would come out early, and the bios would give away stuff from the show. Like, Graphite Ranger was Prince Philip, like, they gave that away. So, I guess they're trying to get away from that by just releasing a nice picture, which is fine. Sell the Zords if you want. I would prefer to have the bio, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, let's see how this one opens. The Dino Charge ones were little smaller slits here. These are just big ones. But I like the whole idea of just being able to slice this off here. You know, the flaps, instead of having it super glued onto the card like they used to back in the day. Because I am one of those weirdos who would prefer to keep the card that these figures are on in at least decent condition. You know, I don't want to rip them off and just completely destroy the box. That's not how I roll. I know that's an adult thing more than anything. And then but what can I say? I'm an adult who is still buying Power Rangers action figures into his 30s. You know, that's my cross to bear. So, pop it open, simple enough. Pretty generic little card. Doesn't have a picture on it like the Dino Charge ones did. But one will fold like that. You gotta get rid of one of these little plastic connectors. Get that out. Pretty sure I just sent the rest of it down my leg, and I'll have to find it later. But here we have the Dino, why did I say Dino? The Ninja Steel Red Ranger. Okay. So he's got he's got a sword, pretty well detailed. I can see the little buttons. I can see the shuriken. Obviously it's all black, which is, you know, not the greatest thing in the world, but it's pretty expected with the weapons on the basic figures. Not gonna dock it many points for that. And it's really a pretty basic figure, you know. It's got a ball joint around the arms. I noticed it's kind of clicking, like it really clicks into place. It doesn't just swivel. Like once you move it into a spot, it's pretty well stuck in that spot until you want to move it again, which is new, I would say, for the basic figures. Just a regular joint at the elbows, full circular motion at the wrist. Obviously, same with the head. Ball joints at the legs, regular bend at the knee, and that's it. Back, it's got the full sash color, got the black, goes all the way around the back, which is good. You never know if that's going to happen or not. And that's really a pretty standard figure. I mean, it's colored fairly well. It's got the details on the side for the different shurikens, and that definitely is his shuriken specifically, so that's good. You know, not a lot of surprise here from a basic figure. Let's take a look at our boy Tyler Navarro and compare the difference. Same height. I'm looking at the build. I would say the build is pretty much the same. I would think that it looks like the Ninja Steel figure, the waist is a little bit thinner. Maybe that could just be my eyes playing tricks on me. But ultimately, yeah, it's the same basic build for the figure. The feet are a little wider, little more splayed out, which would help for standing. So that's a bit of a difference. The hands are a little bit... I would say the opening in the hands is a little bit wider, but the hands themselves look a little bit smaller. And the big difference is these actually have wrist movements for the Ninja Steel. There are no wrist movements for the Dino Charge, so that is a minor improvement, but it's still an improvement, so that's always good to see. And again, I told you about how the arms more lock into place with the Ninja Steel, and as they did not with the Dino Charge. So, very similar figures to the ones you've always been getting. Minor improvements, but improvements nonetheless. So that's good if you're looking to buy basic figures. And color-wise, I feel like there's a little more color on the Ninja Steel one. A little bit. A little more vibrant with the red. But yeah, that's a basic figure there. I don't feel like I really need to open up all of the male figures. They're going to be pretty much the same thing. But I do want to open up a female figure and compare that as well, because that's where any major differences are going to lie. So I will do that for you right now. This is Pink Ranger. Hey, Pink Ranger. I only picked pink because I'm obviously going to compare this to Shelby. So, no offense, White Ranger, you're cool. You're very, very cool in your own right. La-da-dee, la-da-da. A slicey slice. Card comes off. Comes out. Oh, they put tape on this one. And I even like to save these inserts too. Maybe that's a weird thing. I don't know. I throw away all the plastic, but the inserts, I like to keep them. Even if there's not a lot behind them. And we cut off the little connector again. Yes, indeedy. That is what we are doing. Don't need the sword. It's the same sword. We do need to bust out a Pink Ranger. Okay. Let's see. The arm doesn't feel like it's locking as much as it does for the male figure. It's still pretty solid. Sometimes you can get figures with looser joints than others, which can be very disappointing. The Ninja Steel, like, just design well. I love the big, like, tall leggings on the females. I think that's a very cool little difference. I mean, yes, they usually like to identify males from females based on minor costume designs, but I think that's a good one. The skirt has the same sort of slit thing on both sides that we are seeing in the new Legacy figures in that respect. All the details are still there. The details I talked about with the Red Ranger are still here in the Pink Ranger. Very, very nice. The skirt is a nice flexible plastic. It's still pretty hard, but it's flexible enough that, you know, it's easy to move the legs around. Let's take a quick comparison with our girl Shelby here, and I'll tell you any sort of differences that I notice. First thing is, same thing. We have wrist movement on the new figures, no wrist movement on the old figures. Size-wise, same size. Same thing with the red also is that the legs are further apart, with the feet being further apart, because like with Shelby, there's not a lot of movement on these legs. Like, her legs are always going to be pretty close together. Female figures are more prone to fall down. Her skirt, while it still is the same sort of hard flexible plastic, it doesn't have any slits on the side, so that keeps her legs locked together. So these figures are going to stand up a lot easier in the long run, which is a big, big important thing. Size-wise, same thing. I think that she might be a little bit thinner. Her pink is, I would say it's actually closer to, got a little bit of a lavender purplish hue to it. It's not like super bright pink. Honestly, it's a little closer to the No Pink Spandex logo. Don't say anything. Don't tell them that. I realize that. But yeah, that's a big thing I'm noticing here. You know, chest-wise, same, butt, same, all those little things that people check out on female figures, or they say that might be too exaggerated or what have you on figures. No real difference there. Boy, the female figures have really tiny necks. Like, those are tiny little necks. That's odd. But it's the same on Shelby as well. So, overall, what I'm going to say about the female figures is pretty much the same thing that I said about the male figures. A little more flexibility. They put more thought into how you're going to pose these figures. So, good overall. Like, again, these are basic figures. You're not going to get a ton of stuff out of them. You're just getting a sword with physical details, but not a lot of color details. No other weapons beyond that or anything like that. Not too many bells and whistles. Basic figures nowadays tend to run about $10 a pop. I got them at Toys R Us this week, and here's a little thing. Here's a little thing you might not know. They're putting out these figures, but some put them out quicker than others. I actually went to the Toys R Us this morning, and I was looking at the shelves because there was a little display when I walked in. I'm like, nope, don't see the figures. Don't see any of those. Walked back to the regular section. I'm looking, I don't see any figures. But I saw the figures were full of a lot of Dino Charge. They had just restocked them. Excuse me. But then I looked on the top shelf, and I saw a box on the side. It said, Power Rangers Ninja Steel 5-inch figures. So you know what I did? I had some ups. I jumped up there, boom, knocked the box down, ripped that sucker open, grabbed my figures, and boom, I was fine. And the cool thing with Toys R Us is that this week they are running a sale where anything Ninja Steel whatsoever, be it the Morpher, the throwing stars, the bikes, all that good stuff, is 20% off. So I was able to nab these figures at $8 a pop. Even less than that, actually, because I only paid, because my grand total was $52, I think. Or what was it? I don't remember. I think that's what it was. But anyway, so good stuff. Especially get them now this week. Go to your Toys R Us. When you see this video, maybe you'll find them. And that's going to be about it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this review of these figures. Maybe it helped you make a decision if you would like to purchase these for yourself. And I'm going to have another review very, very soon. I'm not sure what we're going to go with because with the basic figures, there's not a lot of Ninja Steel to review right now. All the stuff for Zyuohger is pretty much out. And we're not going to be getting Q Ranger, which is the new series of Super Sentai. The images have just been released, but we're not going to be getting toys for a month or two. So I might be making some more personal videos soon. So that would be very, very interesting. At least to me, it is. I don't know. Maybe it is to you. Who am I to tell you what you find interesting? Bleh, just a guy reviewing children's toys. I know nothing. I know nothing. Oh, it's Faulty Towers. But yeah, that's going to be it. So, as always, please like this video if you liked it. Comment if you have something to say. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed before. Hit that little bell button that they have now if you'd like notifications of when I have new videos. Share this video. The best thing you can do for me. Share this video with friends, family, anybody who likes colorful toys from America based on Japanese things, I guess. As always, I am Jeremy, aka Captain Subpar, telling you once again, forever and always, that I am going to be King of the Geeks. Yeah. Yeah. See? I'll show you the details just a little bit more as we end this video. Where's the video? See? There's the sword. And there's the back of the sword. And there's my chubby little sausage fingers.